Seton Hall pulls off the overtime thriller in the world's most famous arena to improve to 9-7 in Big East play. This is Pirate TV post-game report. I'm Keith Egan, he's Chris Famularo, and the Seton Hall team had a real team game. All 5 starters in double digits, other players making their impact, and a lot of people getting time as well.
I would definitely agree. You come to the world's most famous arena, you got to play famous, I got to say. So we actually saw some good minutes from Philip Flory. He actually subbed in and out between Miles Cale, who was replacing the injured Desi Rodriguez. Like you said, we all saw all 5 of the starters getting double-digit points. Angel Delgado in regular form getting his 70th career double-double. It's a pretty good mark. Overall, it was a very exciting game right down to the last minute. It was a really great game.
And of course, Kadeen Carrington led the way. Played superbly in that second half. He really settled down, and that's what kind of put the Pirates in position to win this one.
Absolutely. He was all over the court. I think he knew that he had to kind of step up without the Pirates' leading scorer, Desi Rodriguez, and he saw that Miles Powell wasn't dropping his shots from behind the arc. So I think he knew, even before coming into the game, that he knew he had to step up and be this leading scorer. We saw it a little bit on Thursday in Providence, and we saw it again today here in New York. So I think it was a really good showing by Kadeen.
Let's see what Carrington had to say about his game and the rest of his teammates after the game.
I think I learned how deep we can go. I think everybody played absolutely well today. And I had to talk to the guys. I said everybody got to step up since Desi's sitting out. And I think everybody did a great job. I don't know how much, I think 4 or 5 guys is in double figures. Phil came in, gave us great minutes. Miles Cale played terrific. I stepped my game up. Miles didn't shoot it well, but he made big plays down the stretch, and then we got the big fella right here, so I'm proud of my team.
An area where Seton Hall commonly struggles put them over the top to win tonight's game over St. John's at the free throw line, shooting 80% and making a lot of crucial ones in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. This is actually something we saw in Providence as well. They were shooting well over their season average, which is around 55% from the free throw line. Tonight, you said 80%. On Thursday, they were around the 70% mark. So really, you can see as we're getting later on in the season, something had to have changed. Miles Powell, I know, was 100% from the free throw line. Really great to see that. Kadeen Carrington also clutch on the free throw line. So overall, this is a really great thing to see from this Seton Hall team.
And also on the other part of the court, getting rebounds really came up clutch for Seton Hall today. Out-rebounded the Red Storm by 13, had 44 total, and those extra possessions really made the difference in the end.
Absolutely. I think this is how you could see, even though it was a bit of a lower scoring game and then we got into overtime, but overall you had big plays from Ishmael Sanogo getting some offensive defensive boards, obviously Angel coming in clutch getting the regular rebounds, but we also saw some other players who usually aren't getting it. Like we said, Philip Flory, he had some regular rebounds. Miles Powell also going on the offensive and grabbing those rebounds out of the air. So overall, I think again, in routine for tonight's game, it was a whole team effort on the rebounding side.
And also we're going to add defense into that as well. You mentioned Ishmael Sanogo. He led the way, of course, as Seton Hall's heart of their defense. But this whole team, they talked about in the press conference post-game, St. John's really tried to switch and get Angel Delgado in foul trouble, but Seton Hall really seemed to control even when St. John's tried to control the flow of the game.
Yeah, we were actually in the press conference, Willard and both St. John's, they knew what each other's game plan was. St. John's was trying to get a pick and roll on Angel Delgado. Pirates knew that, so they had Ish stick with Shamori Pons, and you could see how it turned out. Shamori Pons, while he was very hot in the fourth quarter, was not able to produce in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to hide the big fella a little bit because they went small, and I think they really did a good job of kind of switching and moving. We moved Angel around so that they couldn't just get Angel in a pick and roll, which is tough when they're that small. And then obviously Ish is, as we think, one of the best defenders in the country. So, and Shamari is one of the best guards. So it was a good matchup.
And of course, this win over St. John's, putting the Pirates at 9-7 in Big East Conference, their 3rd straight win, and that puts them in control of their own destiny, most likely with what's going on in the Big East tournament. They have the tiebreakers over Creighton. If they can beat Butler in that last game of the season at the Prudential Center, they would control that tiebreaker with them as well. And of course, they have Villanova on Wednesday. So Seton Hall has a chance down the road here. What do you want to see from them?
I think what I would love to see, obviously, a Villanova win. That's obviously going to be the hardest of these last 2 games. But we talked about it on Hall Talk just this recently. Today was a big team win. If they won here in MSG on the road against a red-hot St. John's team in this month, I think it would prove really great for the team morale, especially since they didn't have Desi. Now looking forward with Villanova coming up at home, It's a huge game. It's a late game, but it'll be crucial to see how this late Big East standings turns out. And then that Butler game, I think, is the most crucial. You have to win that game, specifically for standings, for the road ahead into the Big East tournament. You're going to see the most excitement, the most emotion in those games leading into the Big East tournament.
And of course, senior day against Butler, that will be a big one. So these last 2 games at the Prudential Center for Seton Hall, sure to be exciting. But we'll see how those play out with the Big East tournament looming on. This is Chris Famularo, Keith Egan for Hall Talk postgame. Have a good one.